Considered. It's our Game of Thrones after show where we break down the latest theories, the holy shit moments, and what's next for the land of Westeros. If you are just joining us for the first time, we're live on both Nerdist YouTube and Geek and Sundry's Twitch, so be sure to subscribe. That way we can take your comments and questions throughout this show. Stovetop, would you like to move a little faster? Thank you. Last night was the second episode of Game of Thrones' final season, and that means it's time to break it down, so beware. Like winter, spoilers are here, and with that, let's meet our panel. Joining us today is Warden of the Nerdist and the Breaker of Chains, Rachel Hyde.
Yes! I am so excited to be here for this horny episode. I cannot wait.
Is this episode legit like the 69th episode?
Yeah. Yes. I thought that was the title.
Yeah,
it was like Game of Thrones 69. I was like, okay, well, someone's gonna find a new position they like.
That's true. That happened. Also joining us is first of her name, friend of Nerdist and Geek and Sundry, Amy Vorpal.
Yay! She's right there. Shame.
Shame.
Shamey Vorpal. Very nice to be here. Can't wait to dive all the way in.
As well as host of Geek and Sundry's Game Engine, Trisha Hirschberger. Trisha, what are you working on right now? Anything that you can tease out and let the fans know about?
Ooh, I am doing a Game of Thrones after show with Might Be Awesome, the new YouTube channel there, and it's a podcast as well. And Game Engine, Tuesdays at 4, plus I host Newegg Now for newegg.com every Thursday if you like good deals on PC components.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
And finally, you can see him with our friends over at Collider, BuzzFeed, and Gamma Ray TV. Please welcome Chris Lamb. Chris, you also have a couple of shows you're working on, so what can you share with the folks?
Yeah, so I recently just finished an anime recommendation show with Gamma Ray TV. I'm really proud of that. It's called Chris Lamb Recommends. And also, I have a weekly show, another after show, where I make my straight guy friends watch Drag Race with me.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, if you need a straight girlfriend to come watch it with you too. I volunteer.
I'll change the name.
I love that show. With that, let's get into last night's episode. Now, without diving too deep into things, let's get into our initial impressions of the second episode called A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, episode 69. Lots of love for it online so far. In fact, Nerdist.com's Michael Walsh has an article up right now saying A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is the best episode in years. Also something I've heard echoed across much of social media. So what do you guys think? Is it the best, the worst, the medium-ish? Amy, we'll start with you and then we'll go down the other end.
I have to disagree with Michael Walsh, and I know I love a lot of things unabashedly, without shame, but this one didn't quite do it for me. While I did get a lot of the character interactions that were missing from season 7 and the character development, I did feel like a lot of what I love about Game of Thrones actually was lost because I'm thinking long cons, Varys, Littlefinger scheming, and this seemed to be like everyone was like, y'all remember vengeance? And everyone's like, not really. I don't remember vengeance. I don't remember having a vengeance. So it just kind of petered out, and I was very surprised when I logged on to social media and saw everyone was like, yay.
I would disagree. I agree. We were, watching and chatting about it last night, and I like the character arcs for them that they have reached this point where throughout the show we've known there's this great threat to humanity and that these things ultimately don't matter, and so many of the things that have happened to them changed them and shaped them. Tyrion and Jaime discussing how they've bettered themselves. I liked seeing the character development. I thought it was hilarious. They made me kind of remember why I love all of these characters right before they're all gonna die.
So, which is
it's great. It's good.
Yeah,
exactly. It's good. I thought it was really great character writing.
I can't wait for all the twists and turns, and for me to be able to say I do have Aegon my face.
Oh my God, Amy. Okay.
She got one clap.
Got one clap. I don't,
No, it was really good.
I would medium-ish disagree because I see what you're saying. I think they tried to call back and get Dany to kind of be the one that's like, I remember vengeance when Jaime came in and blah, blah, blah. But I also get that everybody's like trying to buckle down and just like survive the night. I think this felt for me the way I hoped the first episode of this season would have felt, but I know that they all had to get everywhere first, so this is like this to me is the real first episode of Game of Thrones, if that makes sense. Because I thought the character development was really good, and like the interaction between everybody was really good. And like you said, it harkens back to why you like or dislike the characters. But I also see your point of view on it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It kind of feels like episode 1 was kind of like Kingdom Hearts 2.9. In the game where it starts off with 2.9. Yeah, episode 2 definitely, I think it was necessary because like I don't think it felt right to have just one episode in the beginning to be like, oh, this is the calm before the storm, and then we're gonna immediately start fighting. I think there needs to be like really like leading you on and like really reminding you like, okay, you care about these people. And now you're gonna worry. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm actually more in Amy's camp. I did not love this episode like the rest of Twitter did. I thought that there was something about this episode that felt off to me, and there were a couple moments that felt off to me, and kind of when I sat down afterwards and thought about what is it that made this episode feel just a little weird. I thought there were some great character moments, but ultimately I think that what I love about the series and what the series does so well was lost in that it tied up everyone's story with a nice, neat little bow. And that's not what Game of Thrones does. What I love about this series is that it's messy, just like real life. Things don't get tied up with a nice, neat little bow. So it felt like, to me, this was more of a showrunner versus a George R. Martin spinned look at our characters and their livelihoods. I do think it set it up perfectly, as Rachel said, to murder everybody next episode, which I think is where they were going with that.
Yeah, for sure. Now, with the initial impressions out of the way, let's talk about the big holy shit moment of the week. Dany now knows that Jon is her nephew and that it also makes him the true heir to the throne. Is there any way this doesn't end in tragedy? It's laughable. Oh, they're so effed. Let's go, because we start with you guys. Let's go with Trisha.
I don't think it's going to end in tragedy just based on that news alone. I think, as many people have speculated, Daenerys might be pregnant right now, and so I think that's going to be the compromise and the prince that was promised, and it won't come down to Jon versus Dany. I also think there's a high probability that one of them will sacrifice themselves, ultimately for the cause, and then the problem will resolve itself.
That's definitely one of the fan theories that I saw too, that the fact that one of them is going to have to make a choice, the whole like duty versus love theme.
I hope to God it's not Dany. Oh God. I hope she dies.
I think that's part of it. Yeah, I would agree. I think there's.
Wait, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
Oh, no. I was literally just gonna say like I did study up on the first episode of this live stream, and I know that you do not like her.
I hate her. She's the worst. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I just think that I'm hoping between the Sansa and Dany scene and sort of seeing her learning lessons throughout the series, but especially this episode, different people kind of teaching her something and making her think about it. I think her last lesson might be to forfeit the thing that she's been fighting for in order to sacrifice herself. Or she becomes evil. Either way.
I just think she's good. I want her to stay evil. I want her to continue going down this crazy path because I hate her so much. I don't want her to have a chance to redeem herself because she sucks. So I just suspect that, you could see it. Like, you could see the wheels turning behind her eyes when she found out,
sure.
and she's like, "I'm gonna have to kill you now." And I think he's going to try and defend her, and she's gonna see something coming towards him. She's gonna let him have it.
I don't know how it's going to end. I probably agree with you guys, but that scene was one of the best acted scenes, I think, in the whole episode. And that baby, whoever he is going to be named something with an A followed by an E. We just know that.
Unless she dies, and then he doesn't have anything.
Targaryen, Aegon, Rhaegar, yeah.
In chat right now, they're talking about last night's episode. A lot of them thought it was the best episode this season. It's a great bottle episode. Looking forward to what's coming up next for the show. So the overall chat seems to really like it, but you can go either way.
I don't think it was an unlikable episode. I just.
I like that bottle episode is now like as many locations as you want, as long as it's in the same keep.
Yeah. So Dan Casey has an article up on Nerdist.com right now on what Dany's reaction to Jon Snow's secret tells us, which it sounds like he's kind of leaning into what I like as well.
Right.
Basically saying that she does not mourn for the romantic partner that she may have lost, but she steels herself for the political rival she gains. Would you agree with Dan on this? I think we know where I stand.
I think Dan makes an excellent point.
Cool. Nice one. Amazing. Sounds good. We also saw Dany try to mend fences with Sansa. Oh, please. But Sansa was clearly not having it. Do you agree with Sansa staying cautious, or do you think it's time for everyone to stop following tradition and political leanings? Hell no. Yeah?
I would disagree that Sansa was not having it. I honestly did not expect this kind of a scene that I would like it. Facing off these two female characters together, I wasn't quite sure how they would handle it. I really liked that Jorah sent Dany in and was like, let me give you some advice, just talk to her. And that they had this moment where they were starting to understand each other and starting to open up, like people who would say, hey, you know what, everyone's been fighting and killing each other. Could we have a conversation about this for a second? I liked that. But then as soon as it starts to get into, okay, well, we've already bent the knee to a whole bunch of other people. We're not giving up the North again. That's when you see that kind of splinter. But I do hope that no matter what happens with Jon and Dany, that Sansa can kind of lead this new sort of way of ruling people, where the North has, you know, the folks that they're run. Each territory is run by their own people, and then they could, you know, create a UN-style democracy. But I do think like changing the way that they function would be something that could, even if everyone dies, like their lasting legacy. So I really enjoyed that scene.
I agree. I think that it was very true to Sansa's character to not give in to Daenerys in that moment. She trusted Cersei, look where it got her. She trusted Littlefinger, look where it got her. She has learned not to trust people until they've earned that trust. And what has Daenerys done in Sansa's view that has earned that trust yet? Nothing.
She reminds me very much of, who was the older lady from the Tyrells?
Olenna.
She reminds me of how Olenna used to handle herself.
Well, and Sansa has learned from some of the more powerful people, whether they're good or evil. She's been all over Westeros seeing mistakes and seeing strategy. And she's the one who's thinking about how are they going to eat? How are they going to take care of the people? So I actually think I'm Team Sansa.
I'm definitely Team Sansa.
Team Sansa
I need a little bit of the payoff, because she's basically, the way her character is now, she's inherited from all the people she's met. She's inherited nobility, leadership, all of these wonderful qualities, and I can't imagine that she didn't inherit some of the real shit of Littlefinger and the real shit of Varys and Cersei and Joffrey. Like, there's got to be some. I just want her to be scheming. Like, in my head, the perfect scenario is she's got like a bunch of little spiders like Varys used to have out doing some stuff. Even though, because she was the only person in this episode who danced with the hypothetical very seriously of what if we survive? What next?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think she is scheming. I just don't think it's for. It's just not maybe for as selfish reasons as everybody else's. Normally, we would save the MVP moment for the end of the show, but it appears most people are agreeing that this episode belongs to Brienne of Tarth.
My sister!
Totally. Not only do we see her get knighted, which was awesome, but we see that she also finally accepts the fact that she has the respect of her male comrades. To top that all off, with how she also saves Jaime's life and how her work with Podrick has turned him into a decent fighter, so he won't get killed right away. and one that we can see how most fans would give her the MVP. So first off, if not Brienne, who do you think was the other most valuable player in this episode?
I was gonna say, like, I would still pick Brienne, but
you can't.
Yeah, right. So I would say the most. What was the question?
MVP of the
If
episode.
not Brienne.
But it can be Brienne.
Right, MVP of the episode.
Yeah, if you want to stick with Brienne, that's fine.
I still no. I want to follow the rules of the question. I would still say Sansa. Just from the previous discussion, like I really enjoy how much that she's grown, and also like I was gonna say that like I love moments like that between her, like that really was like one of the best scenes in the episode, and I love those type of scenes where two people are at odds with each other, but like they have like this bonding moment before they go back to being kind of enemies, where you have the sense of like maybe in a different life like we'd be like really good friends.
Yeah.
But not,
we can't.
Yeah, not this time.
For me, for selfish reasons, I'm going to say that it's Bran. And the reason that I say Bran is because this is the first time his kind of departure from reality and his new persona starts to make sense sense and play well.
Yeah.
And also, he had like
Ooh, that one-liner.
he had that zinger was great at Jamie, but also he had like a full 2 minutes of answering the questions that the whole series revolves around. So like this entire series, the books, the show, whatever, revolve around what does the Night King want and what is his tie to Bran. And Bran has that moment where he's like, this is straight up what the Night King wants, and this is straight up what my tie to him is. And you're like,
I was waiting.
Thank
I
you.
was waiting for him to do that. Like, okay,
And it doesn't seem weird either.
I'm memory. I'm your internet history thing. And
he's the giver of
and the
Westeros.
internet. Yeah, and then Sam walks in and is like, let me mansplain what Bran just said and tell you everything. You know, like why does Sam need to explain that? We're all like, no, we get it.
I'm gonna go. This is not really how I feel, but actually it is. Tormund was amazing.
You can fangirl choose.
I just laughed. I just love his entire reaction towards Brienne and her kind of like being like, I'm glad you made it, but I'm uncomfortable with this entire interaction. And just the way he greeted Jon Snow after everything they've been through. But man, best one-liners of the ep.
Yeah, I loved the one where he's like, but at least we can die together.
I know.
And he like a goober, and I'm like, ah!
He loves her.
He's such a goob.
He wants to smooch her.
He does wants to smooch. So what did you think of Tormund's move with the giant's milk story?
Some Oedipal shit.
You know what?
It lasted.
That was a long story.
I love men who make an effort. I love men who really put their cards on the table. I love truth and honesty.
Same.
So
He's letting her know how he feels.
Yeah.
It's rare.
It's rare.
Was he telling her? So I couldn't tell. Was it that he was telling her that story to make her impressed? Was he telling her that story so that Jamie would overhear and be frightened, or a combination of both?
Definitely the impressed thing. Like for some reason, I imagine in the wildling circle, he's told that many times, and everyone's been like, "Wow!" and he just didn't get
Where
that
it's like,
response
oh
this
man,
time.
here we go with Tormund's story again. Jesus.
Brienne does get the award for best side eye though.
Oh,
like Cersei's up there, but Brienne's side eye is like no chill.
She's like,
Well, from what we know of the wildlings, what they find sexy is strength and capability. So for him to say, like, I was suckled at the breast of a giant, like, that's some for real bragging rights in wildling culture. Just Brienne doesn't happen to have grown up in said culture, so it's a little bizarre.
I'd make you a knight 10 times over.
So good.
This episode was all about paying off the relationships, whether good or bad, that have been developing over the past 8 seasons. So, of course, what did everybody do but prepare for the end in their own way, which for most of the characters involved pre-gaming the battle. What do you think of the tone of the episode? Were you glad for things to take a breather, or were you hoping for more plot points? Kind of like what you were saying, Amy, since there are just so few episodes left.
This did feel a bit like a flight roster where everyone logs in, checks in with the audience, and is like, I'll be in row F, 23, and that's where I'll be sitting for the flight. Where are you going to be sitting? And then we cut to the next person.
And then you hop on the chat little option on your
exactly,
onboard
and
television.
and I
like, hey,
had.
where's my weapon?
I'm gonna bring up 2 issues that I did have. Tyrion and Arya, their flight plan options. So Tyrion comes in, he's like, Bran, I'm here for you. I'm here for the night. We're gonna really get into your life story. Cut to, I need to know how much percentage of Bran's story Tyrion got. Did Bran, because the next scene he's at the fire. So we don't know. Like, Bran's story takes forever, right?
Yeah.
It should.
But do we need to hear it?
We don't need to hear it, but why is Tyrion not spending all those hours with him?
I see.
He sat down to be like, hey, Bran, tell me what's up. And then he's gone again. So was Bran just like, peace, now I'm not telling you? He definitely didn't tell him that Jaime pushed him out of the window, or else Tyrion would not have that same, I don't know.
I feel like Tyrion would, at this point, would be like, yeah, okay, fine, yeah. Of course he pushed him out there. That's Jaime.
Right, and Bran would have again explained the same way that he explained to Jaime. Right, like, like if you didn't push me out, I wouldn't.
That wouldn't be me.
I don't know.
Not me.
That,
That would be not
that
me.
felt weird to me. And the other one was Arya. She seeks out the Hound. Great. She seeks him out, by the way. You can tell she's seeking him out. Within 2 minutes, she's like, fuck y'all. And then she goes and has sex. And I think, like, why, like, was she stalling from sex? Like, did she have these, like, points on her checklist of where she's checking in? Like, why didn't she just go for the sex first? You don't know when you're gonna die. Like, priorities.
Well, I mean,
Maybe the house was the larger priority, I guess.
I think maybe she was, the way that I saw that, because I get what you're saying, but the way that I saw that was that, yeah, she's just, I mean, they're all going to probably die. She's probably, you know, the Hound was sort of as nice as he's ever been to anybody to her, and I'm sure she realizes, it was kind of a dick move to just, like, leave him to die. So she kind of came back and was like, hey, man, are we cool? I feel like that was a hey, man, are we cool? And he was kind of, like, not having it as much as she thought he was having it. So then she was like, fine, fuck it, I'm not gonna stick around with you. What did she call him? Like old shit?
Old shits.
The old shit.
Miserable
But
old
also-
shit.
Miserable old shits, and now I'm gonna go and check out on some other stuff. That's not
Hottie
miserable.
Also, remember, the Hound is still on Arya's list.
Yeah.
So it's not just like she wants to make nice and call it a day. Like
But we did learn that she crosses names off the list, because for a time, Beric was on it, and now
That.
she's,
Like,
but only for a time. And
Yeah. I don't
But
know.
is it because he?
I think
that
it-
list needs more chill.
I think it could be one of two things. Number one, Arya is a tsundere. The second one is that
Huh?
she's like that anime character that's like I don't care about you, but she actually does care about that person.
yeah.
And then the second reason is that, well, I think the thing is that since she's not experienced with getting it on, she doesn't know how long it's gonna take. So she wants to have the first before she gets it on. You know?
Oh my gosh!
ridiculous.
I also feel like I'm gonna wait until we get to that point. But
You wanna
Okay, cool.
You want to hold on to it?
No, this one is about.
okay.
It seemed to me like she wanted to know where his allegiances lie too, because she was like,
Oh, the
last time
Hounds?
last time I saw you, I left you. How did you end up with all of these people, and now you're here at Winterfell? Like, what's your deal? And checking to see
Totally.
if he's, playing them or not.
That could have happened
Totally.
in episode
Yeah.
1.
So-
So actually in the chat, one of the favorite check-ins last night from Zombie Girl was Ghost. That Ghost showed back up.
Oh, yeah.
Random
For like a
this
hot
episode,
second.
and no one acknowledged him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, one of my friends texted me later. She's like, am I crazy or did you see a wolf? And I'm like, I honestly don't know. I wasn't paying attention. All right, so Theon showed up to fight for the Starks and received a warm welcome from Sansa. Now, the two have been through a lot together. What do you think of their friendship? I actually see this as a potential relationship. And I'll tell you why. He doesn't have his stuff.
Yeah.
She doesn't want the stuff anymore because she had to deal with some traumatizing
Horrible
stuff.
men.
Horrible men. I think the two of them have gone the next level up, and kind of like there might be romantic feelings there, but with an understanding that it's more like strictly emotional and not physical.
Oh, I hope that never happens.
I don't think it will because they're all going to die tomorrow.
They might all die tomorrow. Yeah, I saw that as we are the only two that know how bad that really
Yes.
got.
Ah,
So
that
like
too.
we share this thing that we have experienced this absolute terror together. We're the only two who really understand how bad Ramsay was, and I don't think either of them have shared that with anyone else. So I feel like
Right.
that is their
A
connection.
shared, intimate relationship, much like a 69. Yes.
But that's what I was thinking. What you were saying, Trisha. That's what I was thinking. Like might make later on if for whatever reason the two of them survive, which I don't think Theon's going to survive. I think maybe if he was to, there would be the potential of. I mean, she doesn't have to, but chances are because of the time that she's living in, she's going to have to marry somebody. I think that's kind of maybe a thing, possibly.
I agree
But
with
it's not going to happen.
Trisha. I think also that as we've learned, F tradition.
Yeah, that too.
Also, I would like to see Sansa be able to heal from that trauma and find love, whether physical or otherwise, in a different way. And I also think that there are other options out there for a lot of our lady characters that we have not seen addressed besides Yara that
Totally.
could also
Heyo.
open up her life.
Arya and Yara.
I think Arya's. I mean,
You think she's bi? Arya?
I think, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and Yara's definitely gay.
Well, yeah, no, 100%.
And they have the same letters in their names.
Okay, well, they must be Yeah, Half-Life 3 is confirmed. Meanwhile, Arya checked in with Gendry about the state of her weapon, which looks pretty badass, and then she checked out another weapon, if you know what I mean. Are we surprised that they were the only ones voting before the battle? Honestly, kinda. I thought for sure Tormund was trying to make that play.
Yeah, he gave it a good
so
shot.
hard. He's like, you know, we're probably all gonna die tomorrow. Stands there awkwardly, staring. Like, yeah, got it, dude.
Yes.
So, how do you guys feel about that whole selection process?
Bonage?
I was happy.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching my little sister.
Yes.
It was so awkward to me. I get that she's an adult. We're showing that she's an adult now, but we have watched Maisie Williams
I know.
since she. I mean, in the show, she starts the series at age 11, and so while I
Right.
understand that she's an adult now and of age. To me, when Gendry started on the show, he still looked like an adult. He was like, I don't know, looked like a 21 or 22-year-old. So to see that happen for me was so awkward, even though logically I knew this is fine, but I really could have done without watching it.
I liked it. I liked it up until the point it happened. Like I was like, oh, it's a relationship, a little romance. This is great. Oh no!
I was down for the whole thing with the exception of the side boob. And I think the side boob scene, having to see the side boob, I didn't necessarily, it was pointless. It didn't need to be there. But also because we've been watching her since she was 11, that made it awkward for me. But the scene itself and her picking Gendry and the way that she chose Gendry, I was totally down for. Like, it was just like, that's how I think, you know, I think, like, she sat there and she's like, okay, these are my options. I don't want to die.
Watching him,
Yeah,
there's this
this
great
is-
female gaze
this
of
is
him making the
Yeah.
weapon. I was like, what is happening?
But I liked the thing, and I saw this on Twitter a lot, where it's like, this is the most consensual way of like choosing a partner ever. I mean, you know, having the Night King breathing down your neck's not the best part of it, but like the fact that she was like, okay, this is something that I'm gonna miss out on in regards to adulthood, most likely. I'm gonna make my choices now. Who is like the nicest, most caring dude I know that I trust and that I also like?
She had a crush on him forever. If I
Forever.
ran into my crush from years ago who was older than me and then we were about to die, same thing. Like, absolutely. And I feel like, so she did an interview about that scene and said that she was given basically the choice of how much or how little she wanted to show. And I do think that there is something to be said about the way her character has been portrayed, not in the most feminine way, and people having certain reactions to her becoming a woman in that way.
That's
too.
true.
Right.
And so, but for me, last week, my whole thing was a girl needs to play the field because people are like, maybe they'll get married. And I was like, she doesn't need to get married. She just needs to like smooch him.
Experience.
And
And I
so
did like
was
how they
very
leaned
into it.
into the like making Arya like leaning into her femininity too.
Yeah.
I thought they did that as really well and like kind of really rode that balance too. She's still a badass. She still has all these things, but she's also
Oh yes,
she's
femininity is
multi-
infinite.
It's true. We contain multitudes. And the last thing is that when they're talking about the Red Queen and or the Red Priestess and Melisandre and what happened, the fact that she then says is like, I'm not her. You can take your own pants off was sort of like, I'm not crossing your boundaries. Like it was very much this thing of, are we doing this? Okay, let's do it. You know. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was basically that scene in the Notebook.
Harmless Toast says, despite her competence, Arya is seriously damaged. I would go so far as to say literally everybody in this show is seriously damaged. So I don't know how much that actually has to play into anything that we're seeing.
Aren't we all broken inside to a degree?
Also, we're all broken.
Yeah.
Now, the episode ended with the Walkers closing in on Winterfell. So in next week, with amazing hair, by the way. So in next week's episode, the battle will begin. I thought we would see a little bit more of it this episode, but at least
next one's long.
the next one's the shebang. So let's be honest. What kind of chance do you think that the living have against the dead? Is this like Ramsay Bolton said? If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. What do you guys think?
I think my biggest reaction to that war planning scene was okay, and also when Theon's like, "I'll guard him." Who is giving the okay? No one has seen Theon fight, and the only reason he even succeeded against another seaman was because he didn't have a penis, and that was his. Like it was just a surprise.
Also,
like
he
how is that?
ran
Is that going to happen again?
Well,
you know?
I think the only reason they accepted it was because Bran nodded his head that it was okay. I think if Bran would not have nodded his head, then they probably would have
I was
said
thinking that
no.
too because like since Bran can see everything, he's probably like, yeah, that's probably
That's fine. This
yeah.
is the path we want to take, y'all.
He's
I'm
Doctor
looking at the
Stranging it.
Infinity Stone,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, this is our one chance.
Yeah.
I also like the poetic justice that Theon could go from the series defending Bran and Winterfell after everything that had happened before. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yep.
I just think in that room, I would be like, y'all, we got a plan B, right?
Right.
Well, I don't know. I full on think that the show might completely red wedding us and kill everyone in Winterfell, and then it's just going to be the Night King versus Cersei and the Golden Company.
And Gilly.
It could happen.
And Gilly.
Please save Gilly. Oh,
Dear God.
Gilly on the Iron Throne.
Yeah. Now, a major part of the plan is to stage Bran in the Godswood at Winterfell to draw in the Night King and kill him there, thus destroying all of his forces in the process. Smart, stupid, cliched. Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy they have a plan because it's simple, whatever it is, and I'm just like, whatever. I just want to see it how it gets totally
Yeah.
fucked up, like
Immediately.
So, immediately.
Right.
Like I don't care what the plan is, but I'm glad you have one.
I wish it were better. I mean, the I don't know. Just looking at the map when they have all of the pieces that
Yeah.
are the White Walkers, I was like,
You
y'all,
guys. Just get drunk
get
tonight.
some of that little Cersei poison.
I was looking at
Yeah.
the map and I was like, oh, that's cute that you think they're all gonna come from like the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
And we know that you can use the crypts to like sneak in on and out of Winterfell. And so if there's anyone dead, like maybe Cold Hands Benjen, that might have that knowledge, depending how much knowledge the Whites have and how sentient they are, that's a thing.
Right.
I've always
that could
been under
happen.
the impression that the main dudes, like the generals of
Right.
the Night Watch or Night King, God dang it, the Night King, White Walkers, whatever,
Yeah.
are the ones that are sentient, and everybody else is kind of just dead and
zombie.
dumb, dead zombie dumb.
I think they're running a pyramid scheme where it's like if I like make you a white and then you can make other people a white, and so yeah, it's like the one at the top. Yeah, if you go,
pyramid scheme.
yeah,
Well, I
pyramid
can buy
scheme.
that.
So when they're showing all those white pieces on the board, John's 100% right.
That's
Yes.
Go for the walkers, go for the king, and we might actually have a
Right.
chance.
Yeah,
True,
because then
that's
how many
fair.
are there? 5?
4 or 5.
4 or 5? Yeah, they do have a chance.
They got to throw the one ring into Mount Doom
Totally.
With
Yeah.
Arya's spear.
with Arya's Darth Maul dragon glass
I do think she's
spear.
going to take the dragon out, the ice dragon out with that.
I agree.
That's cool.
I think that's a dragon weapon.
Boom.
Another major part
Yeah.
of the plan is to protect
Some things did
non-combatants.
happen in this episode, Amy.
Non-combatants in the crypts beneath Winterfell. This point was hit over and over throughout the
Oh,
episode.
man.
Now, our boy, Michael Walsh, has another article up at Nerdist.com explaining why the crypts are the worst place to be during the Battle of Winterfell. What could possibly go wrong with keeping people safe from the army of the dead by surrounding themselves with dead people? But I have a question. If only the generals or whomever can make White Walkers, they can't just raise dead, right? They have to actually
We don't
turn
know.
them, right?
Oh no. What if
Oh,
we
don't-
no!
We don't know.
Oh, no!
Right, so they're putting all these precious people that cannot fight for themselves down in the crypts to be the most safe. The only one who's going to be down there with them is Tyrion.
Yep.
little,
And the little girl.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that little girl.
That scene, I was like, this fucking better pay off because this is the most annoying scene.
It was pointless.
Yeah.
No,
it reminded
yeah,
me
there was
of-
like Shireen.
I know.
It was a
I
callback to
get,
Shireen.
I know, I
It was
get
a
the
big
parallel.
deal.
I was
Davos
over
could be
it.
down there and sacrifice himself for her, and that would be
I thought it
poetic
was
for
sweet.
him not standing up for Shireen. I thought that could have worked beautifully. But the entire episode, I just cringed every single time they were like, "You'll be safe in the crypts." I was
Yeah.
like, "No, we're murdering everyone."
Yeah, I
Is
just.
Rickon in the crypt? Because we're going to see some dead people we know next week.
We
You know
are,
that,
and
right?
everyone's
Oh, I
saying
don't
dead
know.
Ned, except for Ned was beheaded, and
Yeah.
so was Rob. So can they resurrect beheaded corpse?
Catelyn, though.
If we get Lady Stoneheart.
If we get ladies, yeah. Oh.
Oh my God!
So here's the thing.
Told you.
Here's the thing. They bring her
This could
back,
be a way to
but
do it.
maybe she has enough of the thing upstairs, or because she's by the tree that she
God.
loves so much, like it like makes her like kind of like lucid, and so instead she turns on the night.
Oh my God, Catelyn! It's like the Captain Phasma battle we never got.
Or she could also, if she has any of her mind left, kill someone that we now have forgiven. Like
Wait.
Jamie.
That's,
yeah.
she could have a couple vendettas that
Yeah,
she goes
that she's
after.
Right.
I want her to
I'm
be
down
like a
for that.
ninja.
I'm down
I
for
know.
both.
Or Tyrion.
I'm down
Tyrion's
for
gonna
both.
be down there.
Have her
Oh,
kill
yeah.
a couple of the people she's super pissed at that we've forgiven. That's fine. I'm fine to let her have that. And then, but then, like maybe later on, she gets
what if
switched
it's-
somehow. I
yeah.
don't know. I'm fine if it's Jamie.
Hodor for sure. We're gonna see Hodor.
Totally. 100%. You're right. You're right.
That reaction is why we're seeing
Yeah,
it.
you're
It's
right.
gonna
You're
devastate
right.
us
You're
next
right.
week.
He's gonna pop out.
Going
He's
to
gonna drop
ruin
some
us.
fat beats, and then he's gonna run for the nearest door.
But I think Rickon could show up too, and it would be like, hey, remember Rickon?
So the question is,
No.
we don't know how fresh the corpses have to be for them to be reanimated. That's a question that I know people have brought up online. Also, if they've been dead for a long time and their bodies are decomposed down to just the skeleton, can that be reanimated?
We've seen some of them down
Some
to
of
the
them look
bone,
pretty
or just
bad.
the arms. So like, could there be a Ned? Could there be a Rob with the
I'm gonna be honest with how long
sorry.
this series lasted, and also how long Walking Dead has lasted. I might be confusing different episodes in my brain right now.
The different methods of killing
I'm
them.
like, I don't know. It's just the fucking zombies all the time. While there was no Cersei in this episode, her presence was still felt throughout many of the scenes. Is there any chance that she could surprise everybody and actually show up to help out with the Golden Company? I mean, they've been planting the seeds so hard that they shouldn't trust her, and she's this, that, and the other thing. Maybe they will do a switcheroo.
I will be disappointed if the Golden Company shows up.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was
me
waiting
too.
to see. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to see it, but maybe
Yeah,
they
yeah.
would.
It's very much like the Battle of the Bastards too, where it's like that
Yeah,
Deus Ex army who
Yes.
shows up and helps.
Yeah, I think it would just be way too much of a roundabout thing because I think she seems pretty set in like just letting everyone letting everyone thin each other out. The only thing that would happen, which I think would just take way too much time away from like the valuable time of an episode, is like her advisor, being like, oh, it might actually be valuable because they might owe you for help, like something.
Or I hope they don't
weird
do
like
that thing where they like wait until all the chips are down, and then they've managed to battle back, and it looks like they're winning, and then some big thing hits them, and now no, we're really going to be wiped out, and then all of a sudden she shows up on the horizon with her army, and I'm like, oh. God,
The
we've seen this
other thing,
battle.
I know that we
similar.
did hear that they don't want to bring out the dragons because they want to lure in the Night King, but Tormund has seen the Lich Dragon. And
No one's talking
No one
about
talks
it.
about the Lich Dragon.
And Bran brought it up
Bran
too.
brought it up.
Yeah, but but that's not part of the war plan. They're not like, let's make sure that there's this, when it's not even hypothetical anymore. When
Yeah.
this dragon shows up, do we have a
right,
way
like
to fight
making sure
this?
that we target it.
Question: do we think that some of this plan is a switcheroo because
Oh, I hope so.
Bran has the Voldemort Harry Potter bond with the Night King, and so he can kind of like, how far does that go? Can he kind of see what they're doing? Are they kind of making this plan to sort of throw him off? Because the fact that they're not talking about an ice dragon is ludicrous to me.
Yeah.
It is.
And Arya's weapon is clearly like she had a plan, and Tyrion spoke with Bran.
She
I kind of
spent
feel
at
like
least
it's
30
You
minutes
feel there's
sketching that
there's
thing.
the plan that everybody knows, and then there's the plan that
That-
Bran has given a select few.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe
Yeah.
to
to
be
sort
into
of
that.
yeah,
Very interesting.
in case they turn into I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we touched on this lightly last week, but Bronn is on his way up to put a bolt in both Tyrion and Jaime. Will he ultimately do it?
Nah,
I don't think he's going to.
I hope not.
Ron's gonna kill someone, but I don't know if it's Tyrion and Jaime.
I'll be honest, I don't even remember.
He was.
Oh, I
yes,
love
you do.
Bronn.
Remember, he was like with 3 naked women, and they were all like, they made a lot
So-
of sex jokes.
The things you'd remember
Oh,
about
that
Bronn.
guy.
Bronn spent a lot of time on the road with Tyrion making sex jokes, and then he saved Jaime.
Yeah.
Also making
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't care. Hey, Bronn's like so low on the totem pole of concern for me. Like
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't know. Well, Cersei sent him north to kill both of her brothers, which is why I think we won't have a Cersei change of heart
Yeah.
because she's so firmly in the screw everybody up north
But
camp.
Bronn has been such a mercenary and very clearly like in it for the gold that I think we are going to see some redemption
Maybe.
from Bronn.
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
But what Tyrion said, whatever they pay you, always double it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. This episode spent a lot of time wrapping up story arcs for many of the characters. Now that we have gotten emotional payoffs for most of the characters, who do you think is living? Who is dying? Let's quickly and super quickly, like rapid fire.
Oh,
Do
man.
you think the odds of who will survive the Battle of Winterfell be Jon Snow?
Yes, he'll survive.
Maybe, or become a Night King. I don't know.
I'm gonna say no.
Yes, or become Night King.
Maybe.
Dany.
Yes.
Maybe or become Night Queen.
I think yes for a while, and then I hope to God somebody kills her.
Yes, because she's gonna have the choice to have to pick the Iron Throne.
Solid maybe.
All right, Jamie.
Okay, Jamie and Brienne are next. Here's what happens. Jamie tries to kill Cersei. Brienne, he can't. He's conflicted. He loves her. What? And then Brienne steps in and kills Cersei for her. We need that moment. So both of them.
That'd be dope.
I would like that.
But do you think Jamie's gonna die?
No, we need the moment after
I
for the
think
Cersei thing. No, Cersei. I'm not killing anyone.
I think he might. That would be good storytelling, but I think he might die saving Brienne or someone else in this one. I think he might go this time.
I think he's gonna be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
That he chooses himself. I think he's out.
I think he's gonna die because Bran foreshadows what makes you think there's gonna be an afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
I think he's gonna live so that he ultimately can kill Cersei.
All right. Who are we on? Brienne? Brienne.
Lives forever.
Oh, you're not sure. Okay.
Please, don't give her the knighthood. I want Sansa on the Iron Throne. I want Tyrion to be her hand, and I want Brienne to be the head of the Kingsguard. Or
Queensguard.
Hello.
I say maybe. I could see her character have it either way. Like either she survives it because of something that Jamie does to save her, but she's such a badass and she's a knight in her own right. I wonder if she's going to like totally pull ultimate knight move and like do something sacrificial herself to get herself killed.
Yeah, I don't trust the show. I think it's like knighting her and then.
I know.
Oh,
This episode was too good for her. She's gone.
Yep.
She's
She's
gone.
gone.
Oh no.
She got wishes. She got her wishes. She's done.
Yeah.
She Icarus too hard.
She crossed the finish line.
She
She's going to
has a
jail.
life ahead of
What
her
show do
as
you
a
think this
knight.
is?
Tyrion.
Survives. I haven't killed anyone.
Survive.
I say survives because I'm still on board for him to kill Cersei potentially as the
Yeah.
little brother. Like it's so obvious, everybody's rolling their eyes like it's too obvious, but then
No.
it actually is obvious and he does. I'd be into that.
Survives.
Or Arya.
I think we might lose
Or
Tyrion.
Arya as Tyrion's face.
I think we might
as
lose
Jaime.
Tyrion. He's down in the crypts, and he now has all the answers, which is everything he wants because he talked to Bran. And the scene between Daenerys and Jorah was setting up Jorah to be her next hand in a very like consensual, everybody's okay with this way.
Arya.
Arya, we might lose in a different way. Like she comes face to face with death, knows him, accepts that death is her path.
Yeah, the fact that she has not been in she's only done assassin type fighting, right? She hasn't really been in a battle, so I'm concerned for her. But maybe maybe it becomes something with the Faceless Men or I don't know, but I think she might go.
I don't know, having played a lot of RPGs, I feel like she has the skill set in order to survive this.
She's the most person who leveled up like D&D, where you're like nothing, and then all of a sudden you leveled up. You have all of these skills.
But everything has been like instead of like army.
But she's really good at like disappearing into the shadows.
That's true.
And she has no problem running away from a battle where a lot of people like because
That's
their
fair.
ego will
Yeah.
stay.
I
So
would love
think
to
that's
see
what
her
keeps
rip off her
around.
face and it have not been Arya
The
this whole
entire
time.
time. Yeah, it's like some rando. All right.
It's the wave.
Real
Yeah.
quick,
the
which
wave.
one? You say she's gonna live or die?
I think she's gonna live.
Live or die.
I think she's gone.
All right, Sansa. Live. All right,
live.
cool.
Live!
Yeah, I really want her to live.
Live.
Sansa.
Live.
Living.
All right,
For sure.
Theon.
Dies.
Dead.
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 Cool. Bran.
Oh, he's got to survive. Yeah, he's got to survive.
Survives.
I think we're gonna get some weird mystical shit. And
It
he's
is gonna
actually
be-
the Night King himself, and that the whole
Like,
time
I
it's
hope
been
That's not the thing. I
Bran.
hope that's not what
I
happens.
think it might be something similar to the Dark Crystal, in which you need both elements to
Yeah.
be good and evil.
Balance
so-
in the forest.
I gotta move.
Okay,
Okay.
He lives.
I think we might lose Bran.
I wouldn't be, I'm not
Jesus,
gonna lie. I wouldn't be
Trisha.
sad about that either. Because
Who would become the thread? You mean they
Gendry.
fail?
Gendry, golden boy, out of here.
He's
dead.
Sad,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I think so.
He's dead. I think his story's over.
Yeah, he hasn't served a purpose in a while.
Yeah.
Besides helping Arya get it on.
The Hound.
We still need to fight his brother. He's got to be alive.
I think he might sacrifice himself for Sansa because they haven't run into each other yet.
Oh, I honestly have no idea with him.
He might sacrifice himself for Arya, maybe. I don't know.
I think he's going to sacrifice himself.
Tormund.
Oh, live forever with his quan.
No, he's gonna die.
I think he's gonna die.
He was too great.
Yeah, right? He's just too awesome. He's gonna die.
I think he's gonna die and finally be acknowledged by Brienne.
I think he might live.
Oh, what if she gives him his dying kiss? Ooh. Grey Worm.
Oh gosh, he dies, Missandei lives. It's sad.
I think so too.
I think she dies, he lives.
Yeah, they're kind of Romeo and Juliet, and
Or both die.
yeah.
He dies.
He dies, she lives.
Missandei
Yeah, lives.
lives.
I think she dies.
Yeah, I'm fine with. I mean, not fine with, but either one I think is gonna happen.
I think she might die.
I think she's
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah. The dragons. I'm so tired of seeing Dany brag about those goddamn dragons. I hope they all die.
Well,
They're already dead. They starved to death because they had to have a rom-com moment last episode.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, my dragons are starving. Let's make them go do heavy work and carry us around.
I don't want that. I think they might die, and I think that might be part of why Dany ends up becoming a Night Queen.
I think one more might die.
I think we're losing at least one.
All right, cool. With that, let's take a look at what's coming up next week.
I haven't watched this.
The most heroic thing we can do now is look the truth in the face.
The Night King is coming.
The dead are already here.
Really super quick, what are your thoughts?
Brienne.
on.
That's it. Brienne.
I'm not ready. I'm gonna cry so much.
Yeah.
Everybody in the crypt's dead.
Yeah, just from the last part of Brienne yelling, it just feels like she might die.
Are you running away from something in the crypts and Dany saying the dead are already here?
Go.
Crypts confirmed.
Yep.
I'm gonna cry
yeah.
like a baby next
Yeah,
Sunday.
I'll be
night.
bummed.
Yeah.
Gilly, you lasted so long. All right, and with that, let's give a huge thank to our guests, Rachel Hine, Amy Vorpal, Chris Lamb, and Trisha Hirschberger. Yay! All right, where can people find you guys? Social media?
That GRL Trish with no I in the girl, so it's like that girl Trish, or on YouTube or Twitch / Trisha Hirschberger.
You can find me on all social media at OneWingedChris. That's
Perfect.
it.
That's it. We know where to find you guys.
Yes.
That is it for today's All Kings Considered. If you're looking for more intense Game of Thrones analysis, be sure to watch today's Nerdist News because we're breaking down why Podrick's song means so much more than you think. It's a good one. And head on over to Nerdist.com for more theories and explanations about everything going down this season. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Nerdist YouTube or Geek and Sundry's Twitch so that we can see you next week for a new All Kings Considered at 12 p.m. PST Live. Until then, have a great day and bye!